Welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Brandon here with Colton, and today we are previewing the deck that we talked about earlier this week. This is the Budget Fate deck, the Pants Choice build. And Colton, what are we facing off against?
I don't get many opportunities to play Fate Apocrypha anymore, so I decided to play that. It's the Astolfo bar into the Mordred Salvage.
Yeah, fair enough. So if you missed the channel video earlier this week where I talked about the deck, essentially my budget deck is a bunch of zeros playing into the level 1 combo, just trying to keep as many cards in hand as possible, setting up for the end game to be able to play into that Saber top end combo, trying to get that cancel burn for 3 twice. So essentially trying to pump up soul to swing in and try to guarantee the damage through.
And honestly, Fate is a stupid expensive set at this point. The drop searchers and the 2/1s are just insane. But there are definitely some pretty solid cards that are still decent value. I really like the Ilya level 1. It's still my favorite combo in the set, I think. So, there are definitely cards that are decent in Fate. But I think that, one of the key cards that really makes this deck work, and we'll see it, is the, it's that one right there that you just drew. It's that, caster that allows you to turn the top card of your deck into a plus if it's a 0, and you run so many zeros that it works. I think that's really, the last piece that really makes this work.
No, absolutely. I think, and I agree that that's what is needed there. I think that's because it's essentially a combo without a combo, right? It's the ability to potentially plus into hand.
Yeah, it's a coin flip, essentially. It's essentially a coin flip, but it doesn't coin flip itself. It potentially coin flips a different 0, which is honestly better. Because the Ilya Azasagata reprint, you have a good Ricky now that's cheap, you have a good Brainstormer now that's cheap. So this is a deck that has a very specific strategy. It's never gonna win board after combo turn because you're just kind of slamming zeros. But it will push enough damage because you are running the pants, so you're gonna get CXs into your hand. The Ilya combo is good enough and it mills enough that you're gonna hit your refresh point enough. Honestly, if you're gonna build Fate for $20, this is a great deck. You're not gonna. I don't think you can build Fate for $20 better than this.
Yeah, realistically, it priced out to about 27. It was actually about the price tag of this deck.
Fair enough.
But even then, realistically, still that's under 30, and that's about it. I mean, realistically, it's almost as much as you pay for a trial deck.
Yeah, and it's. I would argue this is actually. I would argue this is actually as playable as a budget list can be, and the budget deck as an archetype has kind of gone away. I think in large part because the good new decks are only $100. You can buy into a brand new set and build a meta deck for $100, maybe $150 at most. So it's not playing meta is super expensive anymore, the way that it kind of used to be. But if you're going to buy into older stuff, like Apocrypha, for example, Apocrypha, this is expensive as all get out. That Chieri that's on the board is a $25, $30 card or something like that. So, if you want to build Apocrypha, your only option is to play, a budget build. Or you just need to, either buy these expensive cards or have owned them already.
Yeah, actually, and realistically, and even then, these budget decks can still be competitive, right? As much as I'm playing into Apocrypha here, I actually took this deck to Chicago locals the other day.
That's hilarious. I didn't know you took this to Chicago. That's funny.
Yeah, actually, my first round was against 8 Standby Overlord for the new Overlord deck.
Oh gosh, how'd it do?
And I won.
Let's go.
Right? Which is actually really funny because that Standby top end has anti-burn on it. So
oh, that's right.
Anti-burn and Neg Soul. So I had to play around some pretty intense things with that deck.
Yeah.
But I was able to make it work.
I appreciate how we haven't talked about other than a couple of pieces, what is happening in this game at all.
Well, I mean, realistically, because the game itself plays itself, right? For the most part, it's been play zeros and let them go. Most
Yeah.
of these zero effects haven't actually happened on my side of the board yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did the combo once and did the bonder to be able to get the combo with clearing the climaxes from hand. I still have one climax in my stock.
That Berserker Filter Bond is one of the most underrated cards in Fate.
Yeah.
It's because no one plays the Ilya combo. Like, everyone's either on the Reen or they're playing the old Sakura package. So, like, no one plays the Ilya Maguro. So, like, people don't get the opportunity to, like, play that bonder. It's so good. You get a filter on a bonder. That's so good. Like, it's just a really good card.
Mm-hmm. I debated what I was going to do there because I really wanted to play the Ricky onto field here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew the top card was a climax, right? So I knew that I had a guaranteed cancel.
Exactly.
But I also wanted to get the advantage of playing the Ricky and also the refreshing of the deck at the right timing because I wanted to make sure that I got the best compression I could out of my deck.
Mm-hmm.
So like this play here was actually like, as much as it was like a little convoluted and I had to do the extra brainstorming here, it actually was like really decent setup for this game and help make this game actually function and work really well.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the big things that I think Fate struggles with is that its off level ones are not very good in the front row. Because in red you have like the Amagi, which again that's like a $40 card or something ridiculous. Which is a good card, but you don't really want to throw it in the front row if you can help it. The blue off-level ones are not very good, and neither, frankly, are the green level ones. So, like, you're not in a position in the yellow. There's no yellow level one you're playing just at all.
And that's why I play the zero red, the level zero Reen here.
Yeah.
Because she can actually, with the caster power pump, can pump up to 8/5.
Yeah.
So she can actually, like, step over level ones.
If she cancels, yeah, if her damage cancels.
Yeah, if it doesn't cancel.
If it doesn't cancel, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the one swing. So I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, right here, I'm like 4 out of 7. I'm like, okay, what do I actually do here? Because you're at 1/6. I actually need to stick damage on you, but I also don't want to get rid of the climaxes in my deck.
Yeah, like, but you're not in a position where it's like pass turn, you know, and you're one card away from refresh.
Yeah,
which even in 4 out of 7, like, I can find 1 damage.
Yeah, and I was debating here a couple different plays. Like, do I try to just mill it out so it gets in the next deck and get the refresh right here, because like that actually probably would be pretty nice. At the same time, it's like, what do I do with this deck here? So I trigger twice, and so now I'm at a really debate, right? Like, what do I do from here? Because 10 stock is really nice, but at the same time, the pay 3 encore, which is what I do here.
That was 100% the play. Because you have the 7 stock is what you need for this top end.
It is.
Because you have the 2 sabers and the Shiro, because the Shiro, you pay the extra 1, you just go get the CX, which is extremely good. Like, that fixing effect, again, like another cheap card in Fate, that, like, if you're not playing the Saber top end, that card does nothing. But if you are playing the Saber top end, that card pumps Soul onto a Saber and goes to get your CX. Like, it's too easy. Like, that's just such a good card.
Yeah. And that's why I was looking at this, trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the actual best play here? I do save the caster, because the caster can also give me a potential plus on your turn. So that way I can actually have 8 cards in hand, so I actually have the card hand limit for what I would like for Saber. So I can actually potentially double combo here.
Yeah.
But it's going to depend on a couple different factors, too. I also don't like the fact you're only, like, 2/2.
Yeah, I'm canceling really well here, honestly. I canceled well in this game.
Well, it just also just means that, like, I have to actually, like, work a little bit harder for some of the things I have to do here.
And, like, I love Apocrypha, right? I love this set. It's a very silly deck, but I like it. It was my first event win, was with this deck. Like, I've got a soft spot for it. Astolfo's my guy. Like, love him so much. He's so good. And, like, the set is decent. The Archer that's on the board right now, I still think is one of the most broken cards to ever get printed, because it's literally just on play, ditch, flip a card over in level to salvage, and then you can flip it back over by resting the Joan in the back row. So, like, yeah, that's a Fate cost for perfect fixing. So, like, there are some really powerful things, and, like, when you get the reverse with Astolfo, which Astolfo, like, if you play the power pump stuff, you can get Astolfo decently big, so that you can get the reverses. Like, you could potentially double plus. Like, you can go +6 with triple Astolfo. So, like, the plussing and the fixing in Apocrypha is, to this day, still really good. Obviously, like, getting reverses to the Stolfo is harder than before, and, you know, all that. So, like, I'm not going to pretend that, like, it's still super relevant or anything. It's not. But, like, especially in its day, the mid-game was so good. The problem is always that you can't find your CXs. You have to literally just draw them, because there's no CX plussing in this. There's no pants trigger. There's very little just draw. There's a Mordred that you can use to top check X, and that's about it. So you have to get lucky to get your CXs in hand. And the top end just doesn't have the ceiling. Like, it's interesting and it's cool, but it's not a high ceiling top end. Because at the end of the day, it is still just a single burn. So, like, those are the two big weaknesses of the Apocrypha deck, and why it will never be relevant again. Even more so than the Astolfo needing a reverse.
And see, here I had a pretty big debate as what was I going to do here. I was debating whether or not to clock draw here to try to, like, kind of go all in on this combo.
Yeah.
Or to, like, hold off a turn. You're at 2-2. Like, there's a potential that you don't close me here if you just swing vanilla. So, like, if I can keep you out of 3, that might have been a decent play here.
So here's the thing. One, I want to point out that you absolutely made the perfect play with the caster there, because the caster, because it got reversed, you can top check and just add a 0, and because you did, you have enough to pay the cost for both sabers.
Yeah.
Love that play. Absolutely love that play. Big brain play, and it allowed you to, like, actually do your whole combo. 2, I'm playing Apocrypha. Like, Apocrypha doesn't close consistently from 3-0. Your compression's not terrible here. Like, I think you're 4 out of 20. Like, that's not good, but there's absolutely every opportunity for me to not get there. I only have, at best, 6 instances of damage, and if you cancel, 3 of them, and they're, if you cancel the 3s, then you're in business,
Yeah.
So, like, if you can eat 2-1-3 and be fine. So I absolutely think that, like, going for it there is the right play. Especially because, like, as much as if you draw into anything, if you draw into a CX here, like, you have an opportunity because you can save one of your sabers with your stock. You have a brainstormer that you can use to potentially get more resources. Like, you have an opportunity here. I don't think it's great, but, like, you also had the chance of closing me from 2-2. Like, legitimately. If I cancel the 2 3s from Saber, and I eat a bunch of the cancel burn 3s, and then you have the other swing as well, and a refresh point that I have to deal with, like, I think that was the play.
Well, what I could have done as well is I could have gone a little bit harder into it and, like, just clock drew and just actually gone for the combo itself, because I would have had enough cards in hand with the Chiro in play to be able to get all of the pieces parts. I would not have brainstormed there.
Yeah.
But so, like, I would have gotten the pieces parts that I would have needed to do things. So it's just a matter of, like, order and soul damage. Like, if I pushed the Shiro, I would have had a little bit more soul, so I could have gotten you a little bit further into 3.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have made as much of a difference here.
Maybe. I mean, we're also, like, we're splitting hairs here. Like,
oh, yeah.
This is an old Apocrypha deck, and this is a budget Fate deck. Like, these are 2 decks that are missing a lot of contemporary pieces. Like, neither of these are going to do well at a regional event anymore. So, like, and you only have 3 cards in deck. You can't heal anymore because you didn't have the stock to play a Saber, so you couldn't pick up a Saber off the Brainstorm.
Yeah, I'll pay 3 Encore the Saber, because I was just wanting cards in play.
Right. And the fact that you were at 3-6, like, if you were at 3-5 and you could have clocked yourself, like, you would have won the game here. But as it is, you can only swing twice, and of course you push me 2-3-6.
Yep.
And then we're both at 3-6, so we just kind of stare at each other for a second.
At this point, it doesn't matter, because realistically, I lose the game either way.
Yeah.
So I lose the game here, but I was just curious to see if I could close out the game for this last swing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was enough.
If you're going to build Fate for a single bill, this is the way to do it. Because you can get the Azasas for, like, $2 a piece. The Saber top end is legitimately powerful. Like, I still think the Saber top end is the best top end in Fate right now. Like, I like it so much better than the Dark Sakura, and definitely better than the Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it's great, but it's definitely still good, I think. So, like, you have a good level 1 combo. Like, it's a Maguro on pants. Like, that's just generically good. It's not special, it's not amazing, but it gets the job done. A lot of profiles in Fate that are cheap that just get the job done. The Ricky is one of them. You have options. So, and I think you've built something, especially because of the synergy with all of the extra zeros and that rider. I think that matters. I think that's really good. Ultimately, that does sacrifice your damage potential a little bit, because you can't push more soul with soul triggers, but you're playing pants, so hopefully you're triggering pants getting into hands so you can slam an extra pants or two every game.
Yeah, I recognize like the number of soul triggers is very detrimental for the fact that I play choice. I could play the salvage trigger with not much more cost to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like the ability to stock things here. I
Sure.
prefer choice, and that's why I play choice. But
Yeah.
if you play salvage too, it does about the same thing. So, but yeah, that's been the deck. That's been Apocrypha as well. Next week, we're going to have a clock talk on Tuesday. We're going to talk about the stuff we're seeing from the stream this week.
Yeah.
We're going to learn more about that stream tomorrow. That'll be Tuesday. Thursday next week, we'll have another deck profile. We're going to have a Azure Lane deck profile with Braden.
Yeah, we're doing things a little bit differently next week, so not our normal like Tuesday deck profile, Thursday gameplay. You know, we're switching it up a little bit next week because the schedule's a little wonky right now. We're both traveling to Houston as well, so like schedules are a little bit weird. So with releases and the way that it worked out to record with Braden for the Azure Lane deck video, he actually plays Azure Lane, and neither of us are going to play it. So like it made more sense to ask him to tell us what he's going to do with the deck. So he is going to be involved with that. It's going to be his deck. So looking forward to that. We'll be back on Tuesday with whatever Brandon said we have. Until next time, thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one.
We'll see you then.